says, hello, my friends, my brothers and sisters of IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites. Sorry we're starting a little late today, but we're on time for the word. Today we have a very important study that's going to be talked on today. We give all praise to our Almighty Father, Yahweh, who gives us the grace to keep going and pushing to allow his word to continuously be preached throughout the whole world. Now, I am your brother, Israel Yashambaya. And many of you who have been with us here at IBI and also our private class that we held, and we're still working on another location on that for that. So for now, we are basically still blessed to be sharing the word through YouTube and our channel. So today, brothers and sisters, a lot of you who are going to get this teaching is going to be able to take these notes so that way you can heal your brothers and your sisters who are painting inside from the heart or might be suffering from some unknown curse that they don't understand. Skin, it could be your eyes, it could be your hair, it could be your nails, it could be anything. It could be your household. Today is going to be a fulfillment because this is going to allow you exactly what we're talking about, pharmacy of heaven. That's right. We're going to bring everyone that's sick under the conditions that Yahweh is the ultimate doctor that allows us to heal fast. And he's going to write us the prescription. That's right. A prescription that is to be given to the Israelites. So therefore you can give this to your children, your husbands, your wives, your friends, your co-workers, your neighbors, anyone. Okay, because here it is. We know the world is so sick today that we are having so many catastrophic events, and it's all due to the nature of my Father Yahweh, because of the curses of the Israelites that is upon these inhabitants that would not turn from their sins and not realize that they are truly sick. And that here it is, in order to get healed, the heart had to be completely renovated with the prescriptions of the word, right? So today, your brother Israel Shambaya is going to basically, here it is, we got a 2-hour window. And even though we started 30 minutes late, we still will meet that deadline. Praise Yah. So now as we will actually go into prayer before we start, but making sure every one of you have paper, pen, water, and anything else you need as far as the downloadable Merriam-Webster Play Store dictionary, and also the biblical dictionary names, because you'll want to have that in your phone. Why? Because when you, like I said before in another archive video, many times wording in the Bible basically actually stops the Israelite from wanting to even pick it up, because there's so many things in there that here it is that man has put there. So therefore you can become ill and sick by a lack of understanding. But now all of that's been over, because I have been born through my Father in the spirit, through this body, that allowing our brothers and sisters who are basically being counted in from this channel to actually have an advanced knowledge of weaponry, right? So now here it is. We also got to fix our brothers and sisters who are sick, right? So what do they do? What we must do, right? Refer them to the pharmacy of heaven. That's right. I ain't talking about Walgreens. I ain't talking about CVS. I'm not talking about Prime prescriptions. I'm talking about the pharmacy of heaven. And this is going to give you, everyone, access without even have to have a premium, copay, or none of that. Because here it is. This is going to fix you straight up. Because here it is. Yah says today is the time to heal the sick, and to give and share this to the brothers and sisters, the Israelites, So therefore, they can write these down, this prescription down. And here it is. I don't care if you've been through a bad relationship. I don't care if therefore someone have done you wrong or you have seen wrong done to someone. We're going to fix this illness because here it is. You all finna become doctors. That's right, interns. Because Yahweh is finna allow you and I, your brother Israel Shambaya, as I bear witness to this truth with you, he's going to show us, here it is, how we're going to fix this sick up. Because why? Yah says, because here it is, I want all to be able, right, to be well. But here it is. We see many people are refusing to get healed, right? So this is what it is, but here it is. We still pushing for them brothers and sisters to get right, get tight. And it is, make sure that the prescription that is written to them is taken on a daily basis until you are completely healed, brother and sister. So now understand, hoping all of you have gotten everything that you need by now. So let's go into the prayer for my Father Yahweh. Almighty Father Yah, I come to you with my whole heart, with my brothers and my sisters who love you as well, even though many might call you by other names. I ask you, Father Yahweh, to look into the heart of the person, to understand that this lesson today is for them and to give them the complete healing of your satisfaction, allowing your prescriptions of your wisdom, the power of your knowledge, and the basics of your understanding, to give them the help that they need to know and see the wrong where here and there has been in their lives, to remove it and heal it with the spiritual balm, therefore rubbing all over them to give them the excitement of your power. May you continue in us, Father Yahweh, for we are all with you always. You are always with us always. We are your sons and daughters. So may you continue, Father, to protect them, to heal them. Shalom, shalom. Amen. Okay, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We have a lot of sick out there, right? And we have a lot of confused sick out there, right? But we're going to get into this and see exactly what your father, my father, is finna teach us as interns. Here it is. And as we are working in this pharmacy of heaven, he's going to show us, that's right, he's going to show us how to write the prescriptions for the Israelites. I'm talking about those brothers and sisters that is completely in rejection or extreme self-denials, okay? Go look at one of our archived videos, brothers and sisters. Catch up, because the time is near, as Father has said. So now, clearly, get these books out here. Got my phone here ready. I got to set up here. Let's see. One second, everyone. So get back here to this. All right. Got my logic notes. That's right. Got to come prepared all the time. It's a natural thing. All right, brothers and sisters. Here we go here. Now, speaking of, as you have heard me say, or heard Yah, my father, say, in this body as I bear witness, that it is clear that the 144,000 must be true members of brothers and sisters from every tribe, right, of Judah, and of Jacob, Israel. But here it is. Many brothers and sisters don't even understand what 144,000 is when they see it or hear it without reading or seeing for themselves, right? So today, my father wants us, who are all doctors of the pharmacy of heaven, to realize how to write a prescription for the Israelites. That's right. Because here it is, we're going to start from the beginning all the way down, right? And we got 2 hours and a half or 2 hours. And we're going to get this done. So now let's look at Revelations chapter 7 as we go into this lesson. Let me make sure I turn off all the other video stream there. So let's go into Revelation 7. Now, when we get to Revelation 7, this is why many brothers and sisters don't know that they are part of the 144,000, because they are sick. Not like sick, like, just out here out of their minds, which they are in a way, but they're at deep sleep, REM sleep, until woken up. Y'all want you to know that here it is, you are sick in the head and in the spirit, right? Because when the head is sick, it comes from your heart, because it's sick, it's hurting, it's paining, it is in need, right? So Yah says, I want to reassure all the Israelites to know that the pharmacy of heaven has many prescriptions, right? Because we're a pharmacy, right? So now when we go to Revelation chapter 7, as we start into this lesson, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go, everyone, as we talk upon this topic. Now realize here in chapter 7, 1 through 4, he says, after this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, so that no wind could blow on the land or sea or against any tree, right? And then verse 2 it says, then I saw another angel come up from the east, holding the seal of the living Yahuwah. He cried out in a loud voice to the four angels who were giving power to destroy or damage the land and the sea. Do not damage the land or the sea. Here it is. And the trees until we put the what? Until we put the seal. Until we put the seal, right? Push that up a little bit. So now the seal, keep that in mind, right? And he says, as we continue, he cried out in a loud voice. And then he says, verse 3, do not damage the land or the sea, as we said, just read, until we put the seal on the foreheads of the servants of Yahuwah, Yahweh. I heard the numbers of those who had been what? Sealed. See, they got that marked, right? But we know the devil is the one that do the marking, and Yahweh, my father, and your father do the sealing, right? So now we know mark don't supposed to be there. It's supposed to be sealed. With the seal, 144,000, here it is, from every tribe of Israel, right? Jacob, Esau, everybody should know about that. Because here it is, now we see how we once were, times those who are still in the world is today, carnal in their ways, don't want to change, don't want to even make an attempt to save their own lives, but they still want to give life through birth. But how could you respect life when you don't even respect your own, right? Because if you truly love yourself as a creation, right? Breathing air, being able to walk and talk, then here it is, you must have the ability also to realize that you are a member of the 144,000, no matter what color you are, because it's your heart and your head that we're looking at. Because Yah has told us the whole head is sick, right? Those who are outside of the law, whole head is sick. And we have proven that without a salvation helmet, right? You don't think clear. You don't see clear. And you don't feel clear. So now here it is. What do we need to do? Send a doctor your way. A doctor that's from the pharmacy of heaven. a doctor that's going to write a prescription for you, Israelites. Because here it is. Yah says, here it is, I'm trying to seal you, right? And here it is. I want to put this up on here and here, right? So now when we look and see this in Revelations, verse 4 clearly says, I heard. See? Because at this time, John, here it is, before he saw or was aware that there will be a coming remnant at the last thousandth of generations, who therefore will be sealed. Okay? Because remember, our ancestors, all of them failed the law of my father Yahweh. And here it is, they were persecuted. They was put in prisons. They was stoned, okay, and many times. So here it is. These are basically those who were sick because they didn't know about the firmity of heaven. But now, as we start this lesson, we can see that Yah says, I want to heal you by sealing you with me inside of you, right? So now when we look at the scripture, go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. Watch this, my brothers and sisters. He says, then I looked, and there was the Lamb, the head of the firmament, the owner of the firmament of heaven, right? He says, then I looked, and there was the what? Lamb, the head chief physician, standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his what? Not the water baptism, but his name, right? Who had his name and his what? Father's name, Yahuwah, written on their what? Foreheads or hearts, right? So now this is clearly that Yah says, I'm going to go directly to the head first because this is where the sickness is at. This is where it's housed, it's holding up. Because every day people are constantly being sick-minded in many things they think, right? So Yah says, what is wrong? Do they not know that there's a firmament of heaven? Do they not know that I have physicians stationed throughout earth, ready to heal and to give and deliver those who are out of their minds and out of their spirits, right? So now that's me, your brother Israel, Yashambaya, and many others just like me, right? And now going to be you, brothers and sisters, who now have the prescriptions as we are getting it down here. And I hope everyone is taking note where they may, because here it is. This is just the tip that we're talking about, right? Before we get to fully writing this out, right? So now he says, who has the Father's name written on their what? Foreheads, in verse 1. And then in verse 4, which that was in 7, 1 through 4. Now here in 14, we see in verse 1, he's clearly pointing us that you must have his name and the Father's name. And you're going to realize those who are in the last thousand of the generations of time, which is the last days as we're in, these are the ones also, here it is, will be standing with me in Mount Zion. Okay? This is the new kingdom, brothers and sisters. So here it is. In order to see this come true for anyone, one must be completely healed from all sicknesses, right? Because Yah says, here it is, the long as you stay willing to get well, so shall you be healed, right? Now we know how we are known to Yah, because here it is, Yah has allowed us to feel his presence in every way. He has given us the benefit of his fruit. He has chosen to give us his name inside of us, right? And on top of that, he shed his blood so you and I can live and regenerate under the proper guidance, here it is, of this prescription taking. Because here it is, it's by day, grace is given with effort, right? Day by day, one must be looking for themselves to be better and better and better and better and better. Because here it is, if you're not planning on getting better, then here it is, sooner or later, death comes, right? Because then iniquity and temptations and sin brings this type of death because you are so sick, right? Let's go to Galatians chapter 3, everyone. Watch this. Galatians chapter 3. Okay, Galatians chapter 3. And we're going to be paying attention, everyone, to verse 29. And when you get there to verse 29, it clearly says here, and if you belong to Yahweh, then you are Abraham's descendant, heirs according to the what? To the promise. So now here it is. Once you are not sick anymore, you realize that you have an inheritance. Because now you will realize that here it is, your great grandfather, here it is, left you with spiritual help from the descendants of descendants of descendants and offsprings from offsprings, right? Down to us. Because here it is, you come back to that reality that now you have some type of share in the kingdom of the Most High by your attributes, allowing you to see truly that you were sick at one time. And it might have been something that was one thing that was holding you back. That's right. And here it is. Many people don't realize that one thing, yes, can hold you back. Because here it is. Halil, the devil, he do not want to release you from this sickness. He want to keep you under submission of sickness. But Yah says this in verse 29. You are Abraham's descendants and heirs according to the promise when you know about the firmacy of heaven. Because here it is, you're going to run to a physician that Yah is in. And this physician is only, here it is, in the spirit of the Father and the Son, and is not their will, but the will that's in them that does all the healing. And it allows you to see that now you are Abraham's descendants. You belong to a family now, right? And here it is. It's just like meeting someone that you never met. You know how we used to do back in the day and have family reunions, and we meet cousins and uncles and brothers who we never met before because they lived on different sides of the globe, and they had to make their journey to come and, fellowship with the fam, right? So now we're seeing clearly that then you are Abraham's descendants. Now, go to Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2. Pay attention to verse 28 and 29. He says, one is not a Hebrew outwardly. See that? True circumcision is not outward in the flesh or in the skin, right? Rather, one is a Hebrew inwardly. See this? Then we just say you're Abraham's heir and descendant. So he says, here it is. When you come out of your sickness, you will realize all this information, right? Because he says, inwardly in circumcision is of the what? Heart. Underline that. Circumcision is of the heart. Now let's think about that, brothers and sisters. When this was said of Paul, which they say they think Paul wrote this here, it allows you to see that this circumcision is of the heart. So that means here it is, Yah is a pharmacy, has a pharmacy in heaven, and have pharmacies and interns, physicians, that is scattered throughout the world, right? Constantly trying to do an EKG on someone's heart to make sure the rhythm is beating right, right? But here it is. This is also writing a prescription for the Israelite, right? It is a diagnose. So he says, in the spirit, though, not by the law or letter, his praise is not from human beings, but from Yahweh, right? So now this is what a person going to feel like once they're laying in the bed here at the pharmacy of heaven, getting, here it is, this prescription written for them. So that way they can now come back to Yahweh by realizing how sick they really were and understanding that they do belong to a family of the covenant, because many brothers and sisters don't know. They don't know that they belong to a covenant. What kind of covenant? And here it is, when you mention it, they clearly said, oh, Abraham, yeah, I heard about that. But you did and you didn't, because here it is, if you really did, you would have realized how sick you were. Because here it is, it has nothing to do with Yah, but it has a lot to do for what you're doing with your own will. And here it is, and how sick you will become, right? So this is clear information here, right? Now here in Romans 28 and 29, verse 28, one is not a Hebrew outwardly. See that? So nothing comes from the outness of yourself, but sickness of the world. And this sickness want to get inside of you and your body, and it wants to destroy your mind and your heart. So Yah says, I must write a prescription for the Israelites. I must bring them back to understanding what I did in the beginning. Not only did I seal you, but also I called you. And when I called you, you came. But one thing that another did is not listen, because not all came. But Yah says, I'm trying to call all of my children back to me who are sick. Because here it is, the world got them sick like that. But here it is, I am coming with a prescription that is going to help the heart and help the head, right? And then do the spirit all over again by made new, right? So now once we know we are new, then what must happen now? What's next? What must be diagnosed next? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 8, right? And they say, brother, Israel, Yashamba, Yah. Well, here it is, brothers and sisters. If you really want to get well, you must realize how fallen sick you are, right? So now in verse chapter 6 of Deuteronomy, clearly in verse 8, he says, bind them on your arm. So now here it is. This is the doctor's orders telling you, when I write this prescription, do not put this pill bottle to the side. Take it as what the label says take. No more and no less. So now here it is. When we see this example, bind them on your arm as a sign. See that? Or a prescription. Let them be as penance on your forehead. Or here it is, a mark or a seal. Some books say mark, but we say seal. So now here it is on your forehead. Write them, he says, right? On the doorposts of your houses. That means your body now, brothers and sisters. And here it is. He's allowing you to see that your gates now is your eyes. Because everything you see, you let in through there. Right? And here it is. When your eyes pick up iniquities or inflictions from the world without you carefully, here it is, binding the prescription or taking the prescription of Yah by your conscious mind when he tells you, here it is, I don't want you doing that. I don't want you taking that. here it is. People must listen. You got people that drink too much, people that indulge in all kind of strange drugs. And here it is. You got people have fetishes and all other kind of things. That's basically, if it's not pure, it's sick. So Yah says you must go to the pharmacy of heaven because someone must write a prescription for the Israelite, man or woman. Because he's saying clearly, if you're not taking your medication like you're supposed to, then here it is, problems happen. And here it is, it brings on afflictions, right? And that's why we see bind them on your arm or as a sign or as a seal. Here it is. And let them be as a pendant on your forehead or a remembrance on your forehead, right? So now we see who know Yah will come back and also heal his children, no matter how sick they are. If they are willing to be healed, Yah says, I'm coming because I come for the sick. I do not come to heal those who are not sick. What good will be the medicine for those who are not sick, right? I don't know any doctor write prescription for people who are well. But I know doctors that write prescriptions for those who are basically dealing with an illness or disability, right? So now it is clear that Yah says, you have learned all of the ways of the world of their pharmacy and their way of taking things and doing things. But when will you be a patient now for me so I can help you out of the sickness that they got you trapped in, right? Because as long as your mind is trapped, so is your heart. You must free your heart, then your mind is free, right? And if you don't, then Yah says this, I would truly destroy you. Then he said that in Deuteronomy as well. So now when we look at Deuteronomy 6:8, Yah revenges us because he says, I know the world have made you this way. And you did not realize that the world was setting you up to be sick by indulging in things that shouldn't be indulged, by you participating in things that you shouldn't participate in. That means that here it is, you are going to the wrong pharmacy. Because here it is, you're looking for things of earthly artifacts. Yah says you need to really look for the spiritual divine nature, because here it is the one that will heal you. But he says, here it is, I got your back for you Israelites, brothers and sisters, who have found the medication of prescriptions. Because here it is, you're doing well up top and in your heart, right? You'll stand steadfast every day of your life. You're praying for the good things because you know he revenges or take vengeance for us, right? And we know this by Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel. Watch this here. Ezekiel chapter 9, 1-6. Oh, that's great. I got too many markers in my book. So here in Ezekiel and 9, 1-6. Now, what do we see here, brothers and sisters? We see what? This is how sick many people have been when they worship idolatry. They go out of their minds serving statues, crucifixes, rosary beads, right? And then they go on praying to the east. And some, they do a lot of strange things. But Yah says this is basically an Israelite that need a prescription. Because here it is, they don't realize what idolatry is. Not from my book. Because here it is, they're looking at another book from another doctor, following another label or prescription, right? But Yah says this, 1-6. Then he cried aloud for me to hear. Come you, scourgers of the city. And there were 6 men coming from the direction of the upper gate, which faces north, each with a weapon of destruction in his hand. In their midst was a man dressed in white, with a scribe's case at his waist. They entered and stood beside a bronze altar. Then the glory of Yahweh of Israel moved off the cherub and went up to the threshold of the temple. He called to the man dressed in white with the scribe's case at his waist. And the Almighty said to him, right, pass through the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, Mount Zion, and seal an X on the foreheads of those who grieve, here it is, and lament over all the abomination. Now underline abomination, because we might look up that key word, practiced within. So now here it is. Clearly, to the others, he said, in my hearing, pass through the city after that one. And here it is, strike. Do not let your eyes spare. Do not take pity. Verse 6, old and young, male and female, women and what? Children, wipe them out. He says, but do not touch anyone sealed with the X. See this? Because they have been completely healed in their head. They knew they was living outside the law. They knew they wasn't following Yahweh. And they knew clearly that they knew that this book was for them. The scrolls was for them at that time. But now here it is. Yeshua have made it available for anyone who truly believes in him for what the Father has done, right? So now, brothers and sisters, what do we see? What do we see? He's clearly allowing us to see clearly that old and young, male and female, women and children, he says, wipe them out. That doesn't have the pharmacy of heaven prescription written for them. Because here it is, they denied the service of this pharmacy. They went to the earth pharmacy. And everything the earth pharmacy got is something else put in those pills. So here it is, it's killing our brothers and sisters. It's helping them with their mentalness. Okay, a lot of people have disorderly drinking. Okay, too much of this, too much of that. Eating as well. These are all sicknesses, brothers and sisters, that we're talking about today. If you haven't noticed, and for you who are just tuning in, it's getting more excited. Because here it is going to let you know if you need a prescription. Because now what Yah is saying, the one that was in white, don't doctors come in white? Don't they have a white coat on when they come in the room? And don't they have those little things to check your heart? Right? Just make sure you got a nice rhythm beating in your chest. Don't they tell you to sit up on the bed? Let me have you breathe 3 times. Let me hear your lungs. Let me hear your heart. Okay? And then they ask you, have you been suffering from anything that I need to know about? Right? They ask you that. So now here it is. This is the same copy that they copied. See that? Because this prescription is in the Bible. And it's showing you, first of all, you got to realize that you belong and you're a member of a family that loves you and care about you and wants your welfare to be good, to make sure that you are not suffering from anything, right? And what you're going to need is members of your household to help you with that. Because here it is, we just seen in the beginning in Revelation 7:1-4, one must be a member of knowing that they got an heirship through Abraham and a family that really wants to take care of you to the best of their ability in Yah. Because here it is, that this is a spiritual thing. This is a pharmacy of heaven. And here it is, it never closes. It's open all the time, allowing you to realize that if I need anything to get me well, I just go to the pharmacy of heaven. I don't pay no surcharge. Co-pays. And nothing is going in my body that's going to actually make me more sicker and bloated. Because pills are making people so bloated. And they having water in the knees, right? And here it is. They having complication of breathing. So now this type of doctor, right? We know he will bring an end to the wicked people. Because he says, as long as they exist, they're going to keep on trying to make you sick, right? Because they are indulging in sickness without a prescription from the pharmacy of heaven. So now here it is. This is clear, everybody. We're clearly talking about something that's divine and out of this world, but in you, right? So now let's look at Ephesians chapter 4, right? Ephesians chapter 4, I want to go to, and we want to look at verse 18, brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. So now, here in 4, Ephesians, look at verse 18. What does it say here, brothers and sisters? He says, darkened, underline that if it's in your book. Darkened in understanding. Underline that. Darkened in understanding. Alienated. Or here it is, completely confused from the life of Yahweh. Because of their what? Ignorance. Underline ignorance. See, when you underline this and you come back later, these words is basically like a hint to your mind to let you know that you don't want to return to ignorance and you don't want to be in darkened, right? Because of their hardness of what? Heart. Underline that. Hardness of heart. So now that is clear that the head is getting sick from the heart. Because, see, the head is, this is the gate, the door, the windows to your spirit, right? So what you see is basically what you're going to do or follow with understanding or without understanding. And those who have without understanding are basically darkened, as we see. Darkened in understanding. Alienated, he says. Completely, here it is, rejected from the life of Yahweh because of their what? Ignorance. What is ignorance? Let's look it up. Now, many say ignorance, that means nigga or something like that, as many people have used the N-word, as we have heard it. But now let's look it up. Okay? Completely means you just don't know. But let's look it up once. Ignorance. So what do we have here, brothers and sisters? Clear. It says the state or fact of being ignorant, lack of knowledge in education, and here's my favorite one, awareness. Many brothers and sisters are not aware that they're sick, but they tell you, I feel fine. But to us who are physicians from the pharmacy of heaven, we can tell that you're sick and you just don't know it. You're unaware, brother. You're unaware, sister. And here it is. We're telling you it is a prescription written for you. But first you got to realize the pharmacy exists, right? That means you must come out of what? Her. So now here it is. He says, the state or being ignorant, lack of knowledge, education, and awareness. Woo! So now we see how sick some people are, right? Because the word just blew it up, high definition in your face to allow to see how the scriptures become magnified when you look the word up that man has put there. And here it is. It is only a hint to show you what he removed. So you can see that now you can read the scrolls from how Abraham them saw it before the Bible and the scrolls was tampered with, right? That's what we're helping you here with, brothers and sisters, to see this missing pieces and understand there's a pharmacy of heaven. Here it is. And we are here to write the prescriptions for the Israelites who are suffering every day in darkness. And here it is, all other kind of pains. So now we know we all are joined together when you are healed, when you are not sick anymore. You can see your brother and your sister, loving your brother and sister as I have loved you, not according to the world, but according to the way Yahweh have loved you, right? Because now you're getting well. You're starting to know better, feel better, talk better, and share better, right? Because this is what the devil, Halil, and Judas have been working on for centuries, to keep you unaware that you're sick. Go to Isaiah chapter 8, everyone. Watch this. We are all getting well together who are coming out of her, because now Yah is revealing to us what he had done for us, which is give us a pharmacy of heaven coming down into us, right? By the Spirit of Yahweh. So now here in Isaiah chapter 8, verse 16, pay attention. He clearly says, now we just saw bind your prescription as a sign, right? To make sure you take your prescription, your medications as written, no more, no less. We read about that and saw that. But now here in Isaiah 8:16, what does it say? Bind up my what? Testimony. Testimony means it is written. He says, seal the instructions with my disciples. See that? I will trust in the Almighty Yahweh, who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob. See this? Whoa, you just found something out. Mostly Israelites are doing all the sickness because they're following Esau's old behavior. See? And Yah is pointing it out to let you see it wasn't Judah outwardly only, but it was Jacob before he became Israel as well. And many brothers today are living in a world sick and not knowing that the pharmacy of heaven is open and there is a prescription for them. Woo! Because now we know Yah says, bind up my testimony, seal the instructions with my disciples. You see that? So now you see why we're sent, why we're in white, just like the doctors in the earth pharmacies. Because here it is, they're copying from this book. They're putting the white coats on trying to copy. But here it is, even though they might seem parallel, only one is real and the other one is false, brothers and sisters. Because you can tell that the prescriptions they're giving you are getting you more sick, and here it is, making you just completely burn out. And then what do we have? Obesity. People eating too much. People don't get in the right exercise. And here it is, people don't have patience when kids are doing this, doing that in the household or whatever. You see this behavior, right? You see this sickness and you hear it wall to wall, if walls can talk, as we have seen. But here's one thing I've learned. What many people don't understand is that your home for your children is your classroom. That's right. Your home for your children is your classroom. What they see you do and teach, they will do. And sometimes worse than you. So now you got to be better at what you're doing at all times. This is why Yah says you must take the prescriptions that I write. Because if you don't, that means stay in this word, then you lose your health. And you become more worse than the beginning of your healing. Why do people do that? When he says, when I'm writing you, is basically my commandments. And I'm telling you to keep my commandments, my instructions, my prescriptions for the Israelite. Because here it is, I can see you sick because you're following the world. You're not in this book every day. You ain't trying to save your brother from this book every day. So that means you're sick. That means you're unaware. That means you're uneducated. That means you have no knowledge, right? And here it is, and so on and so on. And also is a lost Israelite, brother or sister. So now you must really now understand that in verse 16, he says, bind up my testimony. A testimony is when somebody is writing something from you, writing something for you, or telling something to you, right? That was an experience or is an experience or a skill that they have, right? This is the only way you can look at this word testimony. Because here it is something someone is bearing witness to from someone telling them what they should do, right? Just like a doctor. If you go to them and you are basically have an illness, they're going to write you a prescription. Take these 2 times a day or 1 time a day with food. Food is grace from Yah. The spirit is your food, is your strength, as well as the prescriptions that is coming in through your conscience. Slow drip. Okay? So now we see clearly. He says here in Isaiah 16, now we must go to Exodus because I want you to see that this instruction, chapter 20, and y'all probably know where I'm going. Look at verse 6 through 11, chapter 20 Exodus. He says, but showing love down to the what? 1,000th generation of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not invoke the name of the Almighty Yahweh, your Yahuwah, in vain. For the Almighty will not leave unpunished anyone who invokes his name in vain. Now that is clear information here as we continue. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it righteous or set apart. 6 days you must labor and do all your work, but the 7th day, now underline this, brothers and sisters. The 7th day is your Sabbath to the Almighty One Yahuwah. You shall not do any work. You see that? It tells you not to work or buy anything on Saturday. If you do, you are sick and you don't know it. As we have looked, you're unaware because we looked up the word ignorance. And it's more than just, you just don't know. It's telling you you're completely ignorant, lack of knowledge, uneducated, and unaware, it says. That's sick. Enter either you, your sons or your daughters, your male or your female workers, your work animals, or the resident foreigner, here it is, or Gentile, within your gates. For in 6 days the Almighty made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all the things in them. But on the what? 7th day, he rested. That is why the Almighty has blessed the Sabbath, right? Underline that. And made it what? Set apart. Because we know holy is a pagan word. What's really supposed to be there is set apart. So now to give you more clarity to how you must stay undefiled. Because here it is, y'all don't want you sick. When he got a pharmacy of heaven, how could you be sick? We know. Because brothers and sisters want to do what they want to do. They want to live according to how they want to live. They don't want to tell anyone that they're sick because they want to hide it inwardly. A lot of people hide their sickness inwardly. I'm just letting y'all know that. Because they don't want anyone to criticize them on the sickness. But they will go discreetly to a earth doctor looking for help and only come out of there with more sickness. Because here it is, the prescriptions they are prescribing doesn't work like you think it does. It's putting things in your body that shouldn't be in your body. And this is why people got all kind of blood conditions, right? Heart defects, muscle cramps, muscle dystrophy coming out being born through their parents or whatever, not through a curse. Because here it is, they don't know about the pharmacy of heaven. And here it is, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing all kind of things. And not knowing that these things are a cause and effect on the body, in the mind, in the heart as well. So we lose many brothers and sisters through these ignorancies that we see the world provides, right? So now, as we see that these are the commandments, we know that to keep the Sabbath set apart now. Because here in Exodus 31, as we will go, watch what happens here. 31 verse 17 clearly says, between me and the Israelites, see that? This prescription for the Israelites is between me and the Israelites. So Yah is clearly telling you, I am your head physician of this pharmacy of heaven. I'm the chief. Okay? And here it is. I allow those who are in this realm of covenant to be taught how to prescribe or write a prescription for their brothers and sisters who they love, because they love as I love, not as they love. And they go and they write these prescriptions on my behalf, not their behalf. See? And this is why people got to realize this. You got to understand your doctor. Because here it is. Yes, sometimes you might need a earth doctor for some things, yes. But most parts, all of us need the spiritual doctor, right? And the brother and sister who have got the education, right? And the knowledge from the chief physician, who is Yahweh, okay? Because here it is. This is how you get your degree. This is how you get your seal, right? And now we're realizing by keeping these commandments, these Sabbath law, the festivals, right? It shows Yah, the chief physician, that you're not sick. You're not celebrating. Okay? You're not doing as your friend does. You're not doing as your husband or your wife wants you to. You're doing according to Yahweh. You stand on the principles of Yahweh. And whatever Yahweh says, this is what you are taking. Okay? So he says, this is between me and the Israelites, it is to be an everlasting. Here it is. It got signed. But we know this is a covenant and it is a prescription. For 6 days the Almighty made the heavens and the earth, but on the seventh day he rested at his ease. You see this? At his ease. So Yah says, I want you all to rest from your labors because the body must rest. It cannot be ran like a machine. Because what will happen, a person will have anxiety attacks and people will actually basically become more carnal and here it is, disrespectful when they're not getting proper sleep or getting the proper medications that they need, right? So one must make sure that they take their prescriptions as the doctor prescribes, because here it is, when this prescription is written, everyone, this is allowing y'all to see. Y'all want you to feel better, do better, be better, and teach better. Because here it is, when you do this, you follow better. Because here it is, you're learning something, how to be a physician to your people when it matters. See, this is how us ministers, and here it is, those who are being called under Yahweh, operate. Because here it is, we have to operate in a fashion that he wants us. Because here it is, if we really want him, we got to be under him, right? We got to be willing to compel our ways back to him, knowing that we were so sick by being in the world, living in the world, doing as the world do, loving the world, when therefore Yah says anyone who loves the world is an enemy to me. So here it is. One must come out of unawareness, because here it is. Ignorancy is a sickness, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes. Because here it is. Anyone who wants ignorancy is basically a confused person. If you do not want to get corrected, right? You have to be a confused person. And that is heavily sick. Because he says here, it is to be an everlasting sign for the 6 days, the Almighty, here it is, created the heavens and the earth, but on the seventh day, he rested and was at ease. Now, Yahweh makes us set apart, and only he can do this, right? No other one can get us well enough like Yahweh. No one can give us the advice like Yahweh. No one can speak to our spirit like Yahweh. Because here it is, once you come into Yahweh and under the understanding of his names, it is a spiritual movement that goes on in your body. You can feel things moving that therefore doesn't like what you're putting in now. Why? Because you got a prescription that's better than the earth. It comes from the heavens down into you. It's allowing you to see, I'm feeling better already. I'm starting to, woo, you feel me? And this is what we want our brothers and sisters to feel, because we feel it. Why shouldn't we not share this with you? Who are we? We were just like you. So here it is. In order to help our brothers and sisters, Yah says you must come to this class of pharmacy of heaven so I can teach you to be better physicians to your brothers and sisters, right? And teach them how to keep the Sabbath law. Just basic stuff right now. And here it is. It will amplify you, right? To a high plateau of being a physician. Now, Luke was a physician, right? So now here it is. Now, he was educated. He was well aware, right? And we know this, and this is the examples of why Yah says, I need my brothers and sisters to realize through you physicians who done came into this college of the heaven rim to get this down pat and be able to go into the world sent and heal those, just like I sent the 11, right? We remember that scripture. Now, look at Ezekiel chapter 20. Because we know Yahweh sets us apart for this, right? He gives us the prescription, teaches us how to diagnose those who are sick. And like I said, all doctors come in with white, so do we. But those doctors of the earth copied us, right? Copied our book by what? Reading. And said, oh, okay, we gonna fool them like this. And the devil said, we're going to make our own medicine. We're going to make them take it. And the more they get sick, and some people get hooked on oxycodons, right? So you know what I'm saying. Your brother Israel Yashamba Yah is not lying. Because I am in obedience to the spirit that is teaching us both. So now realize this, my brothers and sisters. Verse 12 clearly says, I also give them my Sabbath. See this? To be a seal. Some books might say sign. Between me and them. To show that it is I, the Almighty One, Yahweh, who makes them, here it is, set apart from their sickness. Whew. That will just therefore allow you, brothers and sisters, now to take these notes, as we're completely still talking about this, to allow you to now diagnose your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, and here it is, be able to be better physicians, to therefore give the right prescriptions to the right people, right? And this is how we do it, right? Verse 12 clearly says, I also give them my Sabbath, as we read, to be a seal between me and them. So now this is clear that Yah wants you well. And we must understand why the Sabbath was created, right? Because many brothers and sisters, when you ask them, do they keep the Sabbath? They will look at you like, what is that? They don't heard it, but they think it relates to Sunday. And that is so ignorant. Because here it is, that is showing me that that brother or that sister is completely sick. When you don't even have the basics of prescriptions in you, keeping the Sabbath righteous, right? Set apart from all the rest of the days, right? Here it is, so your body can rest with Yahweh. So you can enjoy the week, right? So therefore you can have some downtime, okay, to catch up on something or things, right? And here it is now, Yah is clearly saying this now, right? Allowing us to see Ezekiel, and now in Mark, we must go. Let's go to Mark, because here in Mark, we're going to find out why the Sabbath was created and why it is a prescription written to all Israelites. So here in Mark chapter 2, clearly allow us to see, my brothers and sisters, what we're going to read here. He says, then he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man and woman, not man and woman for the Sabbath. You see this? Because here it is. If we know there's a male, there has to be a female Israelite, right? So now why would they leave a female out? Because she's getting also the prescription as well with her husband. So because now we are seeing clearly, then he said to them, the Sabbath was made for man and woman, not man and woman for the Sabbath. Now understand this. Many don't know that. Many don't know that Saturday is their Sabbath. Many don't know that. Keeping the Sabbath is a righteous thing, being aware of, as we just looked at the word ignorant. Because most brothers and sisters have no awareness that the Sabbath is supposed to be kept righteous, set apart. Do no labor, do no shopping, do no buying anything, because you just read it and seen it with your own eyes, brothers and sisters. It's in the book. The same book that everybody say they love, right? If you love it, why ain't you keeping this covenant? You tell me that. But it is good that your brother Israel Yashambayah is in obedience here, bear witnessing to the truth that is being allowed to be released to you here at IVI, Intelligent Voices Israelites, to give you the benefit of the doubt, to never doubt that Yah is the chief pharmaceutical chief. Because here it is, he comes with a spiritual prescription to get you completely healed. And therefore, get your mind restored back to its natural state, right? So he says, who else can join the 144,000, right? Because here it is, we got brothers and sisters telling Esau and many others, oh, no, you're going to be this. Yeah, it says that, but here it is. How far do we go back before the changes came by Yahweh? Okay. Because here it is, we got to include those now by the word of doctrine taught to the world. Because Yah says, I'm calling in the sick, not trying to push them away. I'm trying to call them in. So those who are pushing the sick away are those who basically don't know that there is a firmacy of heaven. And here it is, they're thinking they're operating under it, but they're operating under the firmacy of earth, prescribing more sin and sin by their actions. Because Yah says, I'm calling all who wants to believe now. Okay? These are the Israelites returning now. Those who believe of what my prophets are saying through me. Because here it is, when they listen and pay attention and they receive it, they gonna realize they concede anything because now they're becoming to feel better and better and better. And what happens? What I say, your house is your classroom for your children. So whatever you do in your house, your children are watching you. And whatever they see, they go and do later. More worse than you. Remember Solomon, the other son? So here it is. It is scripture, everybody. This is not no game. This is not something that is trying to be with you in any kind of way. It is trying to help you understand doctrine better. Because many people say, oh, I read the Bible. I know that. But did you know that this was a prescription, brother or sister? That here it is that you are not really operating in because you are so sick, you are unaware, just like the word ignorance we pulled up and seen. You have no education, you have no knowledge. And with those three things missing, that individual is in worse shape than anybody that has ever went to school. Okay? So now here it is. You must come out of that understanding of sickness, right? Let's look at who also is grafted in. Isaiah 56. And when we go to Isaiah 56, look at 6 through 7. He says clearly, now here it is, many brothers and sisters be attacking the white man, attacking the white woman. You know, some of them need it, you know what I'm saying? But here it is, for the most part, you got a lot of those who are without melon who truly, truly want to be saved. They truly, truly want to get healed. And here it is, they truly, truly want to know, how do I do that? How do I reach the pharmacy of heaven? How do I get a prescription as I am an Israelite too? So now here it is today, brothers and sisters, as your brother, your friend, Israel, Yashambaya, in the spirit of Yah, in obedience to this, bear witnessing of this truth to you. And here it is, allowing you to take forth this prescription of teaching. So therefore you can heal many other brothers and sisters by you understanding how to diagnose them, right? So now when we go here in Isaiah 56, we look at 6 through 7, clearly says, among the smooth stones, here it is your portion. They are your allotment. Indeed, you poured out a drink offering to them, brought up grain offerings. With these things should I be appeased. You see that? Up on towering and lofty mountains, you set up your bed, and there you went up to offer sacrifice, right? See, this is saying that you must come to the ability of knowing that you have a pharmacy of heaven. You must realize your search must not be in error, because here it is, you got brothers and sisters that are here to help you make it over to the side of getting well, getting these blemishes off of you, high blood pressure, okay, kidney stones, bad knees, bad back, okay, muscular dystrophy, handicapism, all of these things, food, obesity, these are sicknesses that Yah says, I have a pharmacy of heaven that has the prescriptions to heal you. But you got to be willing to be aware that you have a physician in your neighborhood that I have put there to help you heal, to help you overcome your sickness, right? To give you a better understanding of how you got sick and why you were sick, right? And now how to not ever be sick again. And when we do see a doctor of this earth, right? Many times brothers and sisters say, hey, doc, I've been taking those prescriptions, right? And they're not working. And the doctor said, well, I can write a stronger prescription, Then he come back, that ain't working. Then he said, well, I got to give you a whole different type of pill now. try this. It's new on the market. So here it is. You are basically an experiment lab rat being tested on by chemical imbalance, by them putting these pills and everything in your body. Now, some pills you might have to take, okay? So I'm not talking about every drug is bad, but I'm telling you that therefore most of the pills, as Yah has instructed and saying, is bad for your body. Because man have taken the essence of the natural state and now crossed it over with an unnatural state. Because now he's adding things from his own mind that shouldn't be put into the pill. Okay? So now people become addicted to oxycodons. Man, this is crazy, right? But now we see that there is a pharmacy of heaven, everyone. And that here it is. Yah is writing the prescriptions for the Israelites. And he clearly says now, quit complaining. Everybody always complain. And this is what I was saying about the doctor saying, you going to the doctor telling the doctor, oh, these pills ain't working. I need a better pill. Or some people might say, oh, you know, I took all those oxycodones. I need some more. And they won't give them to you, right? Because, see, the doctor know he put that sickness in you. And he put that there for a reason, because the devil, Halil, is using Judas, who is the betrayer of this book, to influence your mind to make you want to take these prescriptions instead of coming out of the world and into Yahweh, pharmacy of heaven. Now, let's look at Exodus. Because when people complain, we have to go here, right? Because it's just how you get better. You got to see with your eyes, right? That your ancestors have also went through the same dilemma as we are basically facing today and many of our brothers and sisters, right? So now look at chapter 16 of Exodus and 7 to 8. He says, in the morning you will see the glory of the Almighty. Now, don't our doctors tell us when you take this, you'll feel better? He says, when he hears your grumbling against him, but who are we that you should grumble or complain against us? See that? And then he says, and Moses said, when the Almighty gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning your fill of bread, and hears you complaining, you utter against him, who then are we? Your complaining is not against us, but against Yahuwah, Yahweh. See, this is true. Many brothers and sisters don't want to hear this truth. Many brothers and sisters run away from this truth, which is basically a prescription. We chasing you with the prescription of the Bible, trying to make sure that you get well by allowing you to see that you are unaware of your ignorancy of taking some man-made drugs that don't do anything for your body but damage it. Because here it is, everything that Yah had made, as we can go to Genesis, was good and was pure until man and evil got their hands on it, right? So now we see that the influence of Judas is in the world, influencing bad behavior on every Israelite, pushing them to stay sick instead of getting well, right? But Yah says, no, IVI is what I have chosen to bring forth what have never been said. So now my brothers and sisters, through your friend and brother, Israel Yashamba Yah, who is used by Yahweh, is bearing witness to what my father is explaining. Because here it is logic and it's precept. Because here it is allowing you to have proper balance throughout your life, right? If you truly want that, right? So now he clearly says here, and in the morning you will see the glory of the Almighty when he hears your complaining against him. But who are we that you should complain? And Moses said, when the Almighty gives you these things, and here it is, and hears that you're complaining, that you utter against him, who then are we? Right? Who then are we? Now let's just stop right there. Because Moses is making a fact that what we just said, we now are physicians dressed in white, here to heal the sick in the power and the spirit of Yahweh, right? No other. Because here it is, this book is from my father Yahweh. The Hebrew Bible is a Yahweh book, okay? It is the one that created all things, right? So now here it is, he says, who then are we? So if you're complaining against your Israelite brother who's trying to help you, you got to first think. You are so ignorant, you are failing to realize that it is not us that do anything, but the spirit that is in us that does everything, right? Amen? Because here it is, we rely on this book every day. We get up, we raise up. We're thinking about the Bible. We ain't thinking about the world. We're thinking about this book. So here it is. If you ain't on this level, then you are highly sick. That's the truth. Because now if you ever had the dare made dareable to you, I dare you to pick up the Bible and go look at this scripture. I dare you. Because here it is, most of you get scared and run off. You can't stay long, you gotta go. And now you realize that when you come back and rewind, you're gonna say, man, I'm really sick. I done steadfast with this. I knew this was the truth, but I thought I was well. But Israel Yahweh just showed me how sick I am. But here it is. What did the scripture say? Who then are we? If you're complaining that this body is telling you the truth, then you're looking at the wrong person. Because you need to be looking at Yahweh in the body, right? Because he tells you the truth in the body through the spirit, right? So now we see your complaining is not against us, but against Yahweh as it continues. Now, we know that many times you got doctors out here that will prescribe someone a prescription, and here it is, the person either had a heart attack or some type of side effects. And on most cases, that every time you pick up pills or any prescription, it tells you the warning on the back of the paper that if you do this, this can happen or this can happen, right? So there's stipulations put there for a reason. So Yah says, here it is. Why would you want to take something that's going to maybe have an outcome with all of these side effects, right? And why would you just go and put that in your mouth knowing that all these side effects could be possible in the individual? Now, it's not saying this can happen to anybody, but it is a stipulation that's saying that somebody out there can go through one of these stages of this illness by taking this drug, right? And here it is. You got to ask yourself, what kind of doctor would give me something that would even have any of all of this on there, right? Now, remember the Indians, they lived off the land, the earth, and here it is. They never messed with man pharmaceuticals, right? And here it is. The white man had to come to the Gatnite, the Indian, to find out how to make and what to eat, right? They didn't know anything. So the Indians showed them this, showed them that, showed them this, showed them that. And what they do, run off with it and pretend like they are the ones that found or discovered it, right? But here it is. They changed everything that was righteous and put everything unrighteous in what is righteous. So what happens? It becomes contaminated. Because now you done mix or cross-reference something that is pure with something that's impure. You just can't make this up, brothers and sisters, right? Yahweh did this as a sign, right? Teaching us that the pharmacy of heaven must be realized for the Israelite. Because here it is, only way it's going to be realized, you get this prescription through the spirit of Yahweh. Now let's go to Genesis, right? To see a sign, which is a seal, every time Yah decreed something. Genesis chapter 2, 1 through 2. Clearly here, he says, the heavens and the earth and all their array was completed, right? On the seventh day, Yahweh completed the work he had been doing. He rested on the seventh day from all the work he had undertaken, right? So now this is clear. Set apart because it is a prescription, right? Given to the Israelite. Now a prescription is written for your instructions, right? But here it is, Yahweh prescriptions don't come with any side effects, but the divineness of him, making you well better, feel better, right? And here it is, your children see this outcome and they start to now be in your classroom learning better from you, knowing here it is what to do and how to do, and how to serve the Most High with their whole heart and understanding without ignorancy, right? If you are a real parent, this is what you will be doing. This is what you'll be working on, right? Because you don't want the outcome for your child to be in the worst way. You want it to be in the best way. Not only them, but yourself. Because who want to feel bad every day, right? Who want to have the same memory every day of something bad that maybe happened or anything, right? Or about to happen. Because as long as you are not going to the pharmacy of heaven, you are truly not getting a true prescription written from heaven. You're getting it from the world. And the world is killing you slow by their drugs. And their drugs is helping you now lose your mind in most cases. Look at Genesis 3, verse 1 now. He says, now the snake was the most what? Cunning of all the wild animals that the Almighty Yahweh, Yahuwah, had made. He asked the woman, did Yahuwah really say, you shall not eat from any of the trees in the garden? You see this? So now this is clearly the snake is trying to change Eve's prescription as an Israelite. Because, see, she was well until she ran and went to that tree and got in the way of the snake. As it says, he is the most cunning, right? The most trickery, the most one that will lead you astray, right? So now we can see that many people in this world have been led astray by this example. And don't know that every day that when they are pushing this book away, they're pushing their salvation away, right? And every day they're still reliving all of the pain and the illnesses and the sicknesses, right? That the world have delivered upon the body. And here it is, submerging the spirit to death, okay? So now realize, we're seeing we never are supposed to break Yah's laws or rules. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 for that. Matthew chapter 5, 5:19. What do we see, my brothers? Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these what? Commandments, right? And teaches or prescribe others to do, so will be called least in the what? Kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys and teaches these commandments will be called the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Wow. That's the pharmacy. Because here it is. This is how you make it there. By getting healed. By understanding this prescription is way more better than the earth's prescriptions. It is allowing you now to see and know this is your prescription because it comes by commands of instructions. And it teaches you how to be better pharmaceutical pharmacists in a world of those who are outside of the covenant of Yahweh. Because here it is, they're being lost in ignorancy and you're saved out of it and becoming physicians dressed in white. Here and then arrived on time to bear witness to the truth to those who don't have it. But you want them to have it because you don't want to have no one sick. Because you live as the Father lives, right? Serve as the Son serves, right? So now we see we are to be in Yahweh's customs every day of our lives, right? Once you get well and starting to, you feeling it, it's working, you stand with it. Here it is. You get to see Luke. That physician. Chapter 4, everyone. Let's look at this. Luke chapter 4, verse 16. Now, Luke was a physician for real. Now, understand that. Do your research, brothers. So now here it is. Luke is going to allow you to see something. He says in verse 16, he came to Nazareth, where he had grown up, and went according to his customs. Underline that. Custom. Into the synagogue on the Sabbath day. He stood up to read, right? You see this? And was handed a scroll of the prophets, Isaiah. He unrolled the scrolls. I'm reading from 16 to 18, everyone. Or to 19, I'm sorry. No, to 16. I'm going to go to 17. And was handed a scroll of the prophet, underline that, prophet Isaiah. He unrolled the scroll and found the passage where it was written, "The Spirit of the Almighty One is upon me, because he has anointed me." See that word anointed? That is made better. "To bring glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captive and recovery of the sight to the blind." See that? Those who are unaware of the firmament of heaven. "To let the oppressed go free, those who are held by bondage of drugs, alcohol, and every other bad iniquity," right? "And to proclaim a year acceptable to the Almighty Yahweh." Because here it is. You must know better now by feeling better because you found the firmament of heaven. Just that simple. A brother or a sister might have helped you find that firmament of heaven. And here it is. This is a stamp reward on every Sabbath because it's set apart from the other 6 days, right? So now here it is. You feel better by helping a brother or a sister get better, right? And then that brother and sister who got better go and help another brother and sister get better. It's like the boomerang effect, right? It comes right back to the chief physician, Yahweh, because he is the one that stamps you or seals you for here it is, the eternal covenant. We are to share the rest with others because here it is. We know that Yahweh said we must share. We are not to keep this to ourselves. We are to make this knowledge known and be available by any source available and by all means necessary, my brothers and sisters. Because here it is, we know the time is closing in. For those who are about to die completely out, and here it is, we can be held accountable if we don't help these brothers and sisters by being used in the body by the Spirit of Yah to teach the gospel of truth, to allow them to know there is a real firmament of heaven, to understand that the prescription is for the Israelite, and as long as you stay on it, you're going to do good. Don't run. So now here it is. Let's go to Acts to see that. We share with our brothers and sisters by all means necessary. My Father have sent this body to be used in a very good way, and I'm so thankful because I know my brothers and sisters are being saved all over the world by waking up out of ignorancy, by hearing the truth and knowing how to live better with their children, with their husbands, with their boyfriend, or whoever, but making sure they're living biblically because Yahweh says, I am here to condition you better than you ever been conditioned, because man has lied to you so much from an unrighteous heart, where here it is, I'm sending my son in this body to bear witness to what I'm going to teach here at IVI. And it will be set apart. I assure you that. So now here it is. Most of you who have been with us already know. But those of you who are just started out with us, I hope you are looking at our archives. But here it is. As we see in Acts chapter 17, verse 2, he says, following, right? So when he writes the prescription, you have to follow what the doctor orders, right? So he says, following his usual custom, Paul joined them, and for 3 Sabbaths, he entered into the decision with them from the what? Scriptures, right? From the scriptures. So now Paul got healed by a physician. Who was the chief physician? Remember, he met Paul out on the road with a few of his companions. But now here it is. He's been welcomed into the brotherhood of Yah's servants. And here it is. Many people around that time in that area knew Paul as a persecutor of the church. Oops, I just keep knocking this thing down. I'm sorry about that. So now here it is. We see Paul is basically glad to be joined in. And here it is. This is allowing any brother now to see, as Paul, that when you do get this prescription and then you do start taking it, you're going to actually know that Yah is and have given you a pharmacy of heaven to keep getting a prescription written by a brother or a sister, whoever you came in contact with, right? Because here it is, Yah is going to make sure you're in the right place at the right time for the right things, right? Because he says, I am the giver of my word. No one gives the word to you but me. And I give the word not as I give, but as my Father hath given unto me, right? So now we know this is clear. We are to teach if necessary, right? Because not all brothers and sisters are meant to teach. But here it is. We are held accountable. Because here it is. We know, even though we were once sick, we must teach there is a pharmacy of heaven, so brothers and sisters can know about it, right? And that means that's the gospel. So now as we look at this gospel, let's go to Acts 3. Let's go to Acts 13. And we're going to look at 42, verse 42. And he says, as they were leaving, they invited them to speak on these subjects. See that? These are physicians, Israelites. The following Sabbath, right? Now let's turn also to Matthew 24. Watch this. Because, see, many brothers and sisters don't know prayer is the power to your prescription. This is how you put your prescription in to the pharmacy of heaven, through prayer, right? Because here it is, Yah is writing the prescription. So now when we get to verse 20, what do we say? What do we see? Pray that your flight not be in winter or on the Sabbath, right? Because he's telling the ignorant, as long as you don't know that there's a pharmacy of heaven available for you, and there is physicians on your earth that I am in, ready to make sure your prescription get written through prayer, because that's what they would do. You therefore would be giving the proper prescription for your hearing. And here it is. You will relate the illness that Yah is pointing out. And here it is. You will qualify because you have faith in the scriptures to get healed. So now when we see this here in verse 20, he says, pray that your flight not be in winter or on the Sabbath. Because see, Sabbath is set apart, right? So here it is. All of us Israelites who have gotten the true prescriptions, we know here it is. Our flight is already in peace because we died already and resurrected in the spirit of Yahweh. So here it is. We don't care if it's winter or here it is or whatever other conditions. Because here it is, we know we're going to the kingdom of the Most High. Amen. So now when we look at this, we are to always worship Yah, right? Many people don't do that. They don't follow that prescription. They say, well, I can serve whoever I want to serve. I can be a congregant of whoever I want to be a congregant of. But here it is. They don't know they're going against the book. The book is the Bible, the Hebrew Bible for the Israelites, all returning, right? So now here it is. Yah says clearly in verse chapter, what's this, Revelation? Let's go to Revelation 14, verse 7. He says, he said in a loud voice, obey Yahuwah and give him glory, for his time have come to sit in judgment. Worship him who made heaven and earth and the sea and springs of water, right? So now we're understanding, here it is, clearly. Yah talks to us through his conscience, to our conscious mind, allowing us to know when, therefore, you're doing something wrong or when you're doing something right, right? And therefore, he might send a brother or a sister also to you if he needs to be even more direct, right? Because here it is, he want to make sure that you are aware, even though you might not be aware, that you're sick or you're falling off into the ways of wickedness, right? So what he must do, write a prescription. How do we do it? Through a brother or a sister, placing them in certain locations at right times for the brother and sisters so they can get this prescription down packed and take it as the label says, right? And stay with it, because here it is, you're going to constantly pray now for this prescription to get even better and better, until therefore now we're going to diagnose more other illnesses that you might have after. So now we see this clearly. He says in 14 and 7, and now as we see here in 14 and 7, as we have read, let's look at chapter 12, verse 17. What do we see? Then the dragon, see, every time you attempt to get yourself better, the devil is going to try to come and snatch you away. He's going to tell you, no, don't take that. Take this. This is way more better. Come on, you can do this. Follow that desire, right? So he says, then the dragon became angry with the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her what? Offsprings, and those who kept Yahuwah's commandments and bear witness to the Son Yahshua. See, the devil do not want you to get well, brothers and sisters. He don't want you to get healed by this word. He don't want you to go to the pharmacy of heaven and going up there to the counter, and here it is picking up a prescription that's going to basically make sure you are having eternal life stamped all over you, because we just read that here it is. He says, go through the village, and here it is, seal those on the forehead, and anyone after that, here it is, put them to death, because now they done became completely engulfed into sickness, so they must be destroyed. But for those who have the seal on their head, that mark, that X, these are the ones that are grafted in with no sicknesses, because they knew about the pharmacy of heaven. So now this is clear that he says the dragon became angry. See, people don't want people to get better, man. They don't want you to hear the words of life. They want you to follow the advice of death, because they're suffering. And who wants to go to hell alone, right? Because here it is, if they can find somebody that is ignorant, as we looked up the word, and here it is, knowing that you have no knowledge, no education, and no awareness, then you can be used. You can be prostituted. How about that? And this is what the world will do to you. It will prostitute you. Okay? What do the scriptures say about that? One who becomes one, right? And here it is, and now you see why it is necessary that here it is, us physicians who are Israelites, who have therefore took the covenant and the oath of Yahuwah, Yahweh, we are basically doing what we went to class for. is to serve Yah in obedience, to allow his will to be done, to let his spirit be done in us. So therefore, we teach better, we learn better, and do better. And here it is, every brother who sees us follow better. Because here it is, we set a tone of trend, how to live a moral conduct when you are aware of who you are and you're not sick anymore, right? So now we see we are to remain in the spirit, as Revelations 22:14 says. Let's go. Let's look at it. And he says in 22 Revelations 14, blessed are they who wash their robes, right? So as to have the right to the tree of life. He didn't say cross, did he? He says tree of life, and enter the city through the gates. See, your gates is your eyes now. What you see is the windows to your spirit. So now he's talking about your gates. Outside are the dogs. So he says, be watchful though. Don't pick up bad behavior. Don't pick up bad conduct. Because see, then therefore your prescription won't work that came from the pharmacy of heaven. It starts to wear off. What did I say earlier? Many people go see their doctor and tell them these pills ain't working no more. So what they do, they go up one or two, and then after that, they got to assign you a whole new pill. Try this. I heard it works. So now here it is. That's the dogs, right? Who have no knowledge, no education, and no awareness. So now this earth doctor is just giving you stuff to take. He says the sorcerers, the unchaste, the murderers, the idol worshipers, and all who love and practice deceit. Underline that. Practice deceit. Because here it is. These are the people that is first forcing their children, forcing their relationships, and forcing everything to crash and burn. Because here it is. They're so sick. They don't even want to look at anything that compromises. Okay? They don't want to do anything of that. Because here it is, they're going to stay one direction in their own ways and not in the way of Yahweh. And here it is, not realizing how sick they truly are. And here it is, they fall right off into death, right? So now we see, we keep our hearts pure with the promise, right? Because Isaiah 66, let's go. Isaiah 66 shows us that this pharmacy of heaven comes with a better prescription. So now look at this, 66, verse 22 through 23. What do it say? Just as the new heavens and the new earth, so shall be the new Israelite, which I am making, shall endure before me. You see that? The Almighty Yahweh. So shall your descendants and your name, see this? Endure. So now the Israelite that comes to the right pharmacy of heaven through the right physician that's sent out of this pharmacy of heaven, get the right prescription, here it is, to understand how to be properly diagnosed out of your illnesses, because he says, so shall your descendants and your name endure, right? From new moon to the new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, all, here it is, spirit, all spirits shall come to worship. See, they got flesh. We know flesh is sin. So now he says, all spirits shall come to worship before me. See, now you know why we had to remove that word. Because now it makes you better sense, right? Because he says, before me. So you couldn't come with your flesh at the time you died from this earth, because then, therefore, you will know you'll be under judgment, because you have blemishes and also you have sickness. So that means you cannot come before Yahweh with that. He won't come near you with that. And this is why I tell brothers and sisters, Yahweh will not come near you if your heart is not trying to get this prescription from the pharmacy of heaven. You cannot be trying to manipulate your way into this kingdom. It won't work. You got to be fully sincere with your heart, in your mind. Otherwise, you are not counted. You're not entering. Okay? So he says, all spirits shall come to worship. Say, we don't see that today. We don't see all spirits coming to worship Yahweh. People are serving all kinds of religion, but not knowing that Yahweh is not a religion. This is your way of life that was meant to be, right? In the beginning. So now here it is. You're being shifted out of an evil world and system unto Yahweh again, and realizing he's giving you prescriptions from the pharmacy of heaven every day of your life. And this is why most of us, like your brother Israel Shambayah, my wife, and many other brothers and sisters we fellowship with, feel very fine and knows exactly where we going at the time when we're going. Because here it is, we don't play no games with ourselves. We done did that already. It was fun, and now it's over. It's time to be truthful, right? And this is what a real brother and sisters must come to agreement with themselves. They got to realize, when will the game be over? When will you stop pretending and here it is playing with yourself? Because here it is, Yah knows that you are not being really sincere with your heart. Because here it is, he can see sickness. And he can see that you need a true prescription. Because if you don't get it, you're going to die. And if you're going to die, you're going to die to sin, and that means judgment, right? So now, as we see this here, we are to remain faithful to Yahweh, right? Because once someone have helped you, looked out for you, taken care of you, just as a parent to a child, and this is why children love their parents, because when they are made and came out the womb, they're raised, they're reared, they're given things by love. They're taken places by love, and they're trying to be given the best possible lifestyle as possible a parent can give a child, right? But there's still sickness. Because here it is, if the parent haven't came into covenant fully, then what they are taking as advice from others that doesn't come from this book is a wasted obligation. Okay? Because everything fails without this book, as you may know this, everyone. Because here it is, without this book, one cannot know about the pharmacy of heaven or the gospel of truth that comes from heaven. Because here it is, the heavens is Yahweh. It came down into man and woman who believes, who have faith for the truth, right? Because see, the truth is your salvation helmet picked back up on your head, allowing you to walk better, talk better, be better, eat better, and teach better. Because here it is, as we see in Daniel chapter 6. Watch this. Oh, yes. Brothers and sisters, this is going to be a helping piece to many brothers and sisters that you teach this to, the pharmacy of heaven. Oh, yes. Because then they're going to realize how sick they've been by missing the prescription of the scripture. So now here in Daniel chapter 6, verse 5, what do we got? He clearly says, then the ministers, here it is, tried to find grounds for accusations against Daniel regarding the kingdom. You see this? But they could not accuse him of any corruption because he was trustworthy, no fault, underline that, or corruption was to be found in him. Now, brothers and sisters, we got many brothers, like I just said, when you try to help a brother and teach your brothers and sisters about Yah, they're trying to find accusations to own you, trying to find some blemishes on you. When here it is, they ain't even made an attempt in no time to stay within this book. But they're trying to find accusations or accusing you of blemishes that they think they can judge, right, or see on you without the proper prescriptions of the pharmacy of heaven. How? How could you do that? How could you accuse your doctor who done went to school, study pharmaceutical, and here it is, the measurements of drugs, the weighing of drugs, the dispersing of drugs, and tell them how much you need and don't need. So now we see, here it is, we are to remain faithful to Yahweh. What he gives us, we have to believe and know that it is good for us. We cannot say, oh, no, I don't think that's good for me. That don't sound right to me. Y'all don't care what sounds right to you because he know you ain't right. Because here it is, as the scripture says here in 6:5, you are looking for fault in everybody. You're looking for corruption on everybody, right? And it is truly saying that here it is, he says, but they could not accuse him. This is Daniel, y'all. This is allowing you to see many brothers and sisters today in this generation of last days are basically being accused and being looked upon from a heathen, here it is, to try to make you, here it is, seem like you wrong. They would try to tell you, you wrong. But here it is, they don't know that you are telling Yahweh he wrong, when he is totally telling you the truth and showing it to you, right? To make sure you know about his pharmacy of heaven and to know that all of his interns and anyone who have been grafted in as an Israelite now can write a prescription for the Israelite because they've been to school with Yahweh, right? We are to refuse the beast system. Now, the beast system, as we know, have written many horrible, death-defying prescriptions and influences for the inhabitants of this earth, have allowed man and woman and child, dog as well, and cat, to be gulfed up in death. Strangely done, though. But here it is, unstrangely, by a true physician that can see and understand how these people and how these animals are dying by people. You see people running over animals, right? Killing animals, eating animals. As Trump, I was watching the debate, was saying that in some place in America, forgot where it was, my wife might know, but she's not here now. But here it is, was eating animals and also chasing them down in the streets, and it never aired on the news. Now that's completely sick, because here it is, animals just want to be your friend, and they just want to be guided, taught, loved, right? But we had a wicked world that killed animals on a daily basis. And I'm gonna give, just for a minute, I'm gonna give an example. I had an animal, which was not just an animal to our household, but was a family member. It was a terrier. We had a fox terrier mix. Took him to the vet because he kept just, he wasn't old, but he just, something in the backyard, some evil got on him through someone that he done ate, and therefore was diagnosed with an illness where he couldn't use the bathroom. So go to the vet, and here it is, come to find out that they didn't even properly diagnose our pet. And this was blue dreams, everyone. So anyone that's in Arizona, do not go to these people. They would kill your pet straight up without no love involved, and will have you stand there to watch by tricking your wife, your children, while they are in so much, emotional pain. They'll play on that. And they actually put our animal, our dog down And come to find out, his vet said was nothing wrong with him when he last was checked. So here it is. They killed our dog. That's right. So now here it is. This is showing you that the evil and the prescription of the devil in the world is given on the people. People are losing their minds out here. Okay. And here it is. They don't know about this firmacy of heaven because they are running from the book of the Bible. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know it. They just want to live according to the way they want to live and think it's right, and that they got some part of a kingdom of purity when they die. Completely false. So now we see in Daniel, we are to refuse the beast system. But now here it is. We must also understand this. Go to Revelations. Get some water. Whew. Yeah, 2 minutes, y'all. I got to finish up, wrap up. So I'm going to read this last scripture. I'm wrapping up for today. And I want to go Revelations 13:42. One second. So now as we go to Revelations, let's look at (12:17). No. I'm sorry. Luke 23. Luke 23:54. I close with that. Luke 23:54. What do we see? He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Yahshua, right? After he had taken the body down, he wrapped it in linen or white cloth, laid him in a rock tomb in which no one had yet been buried. Now here's 54. It was the day of preparation, and the Sabbath was about to begin. See, this is what brothers and sisters must do. Get yourself preparated for the pharmacy of heaven. Because here it is. You're going to really need to make sure you get a prescription. Because here it is. You know, and many others know by bearing witness to those who are seeing the example of others, have been in so much sickness where here it is, they don't know the proper prescription. But hopefully today, brothers and sisters, that enough have been said to give you this opportunity now to re-go over these scriptures with your friends, your relatives, co-workers, or whoever, and give them the benefit of what you just benefited on from Yah, and allow yourself to know that there is a pharmacy of heaven that is prepared for you by this book. And as long as you are with this book and truly with this book, Yah will see you, and there will be a proper time for him to count you. And here it is, to know you better and to share with you. Because here it is, you're going to have to actually, by all means necessary, fight for your life for this book. Because if you don't do that, Yah ain't coming nowhere near you. Because he is not here for the game. Okay? He here to count and go on. And here it is, let it be done in the Father's name. So until next time, brothers and sisters, I send out my shalom to you. And may you all be in peace. Until next time we come and meet up again. Shalom, shalom. Amen.